This is one of those videos where I'm kind of like, what are you talking about? What are you doing, bro? I agree with you sometimes, or most of the times, but this take right here, Matt Walsh, you need to take an L. I'm going to tell you why I fully disagree with Matt Walsh on this take. Roll that intro.
CBS has this report. Actor Will Smith says that he would understand if audiences are not ready to see him on the big screen so soon after the infamous Oscar slap earlier this year. On Monday, Smith spoke to Fox 5 DC's Kevin McCarthy about his new film Emancipation, which is set to be released in theaters on December 2nd and start streaming on Apple TV on December 9th. It's his first major project since he slapped Chris Rock on stage at the Academy Awards. And this is a movie, as the title suggests, it's a movie about slavery. Emancipation centers around Smith's character, Peter, an enslaved man who escapes a Louisiana plantation and makes his way north. The film was inspired by 1863 photos of a man whose bare back was mutilated from whippings by his enslavers. Well, even before we talk about Will Smith specifically, I will say that I'm glad we finally have a movie about slavery. Finally, Hollywood is telling this story. Because I think the story has never been told, and we haven't heard about this, and it's just really good. I mean, at the very least, it had been 17 seconds since the last slavery movie, and we know that if there's gonna be a movie about American history, like as far as Hollywood's concerned, this is the only thing that happened in American history. Certainly the only thing that you can tell a story about.
Okay, the thing about Matt is that, he's got this thing whereby he almost sounds like he's kind of like throwing shade all the time. Lately he's been kind of making content, and I've noticed how because of the varying views between Democrats and Republicans, if you may, conservatives and liberals, it's heated pretty much. It's been heated. It's been pretty heated lately, and I get where Matt is coming from. He made a video about Daniel Radcliffe, saying that they're calling him a rat because he's not showing his allegiance to J.K. Rowling. Yes, we do understand that. Of course, without J.K. Rowling, he wouldn't have had the career that he has had, the illustrious career that he has had. But is the name calling really necessary? I think, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a screenwriter, a well-established screenwriter in South Africa. And, funny enough, he's got the same name as me. And and we kind of share the same sentiments in terms of, the name calling and everything. Is it really necessary? There are times when you just have to kind of like sort of peel off all the scales and just sort of ask yourself important questions. In as much as I love Matt Walsh's take on culture and politics, but you have to kind of ask yourself questions sometimes. Is it necessary? Are the jabs really that necessary for you to get your message across? That's just something that I've been picking up about him as of late. All right, let's just continue the video.
So that's great, but Will Smith is kind of on this publicity tour, where he's claiming that I don't care. If I understand if you don't, if you're still upset. He's pretending to be apologetic, but then if you listen to what he's saying, it actually doesn't sound very apologetic to me. Here he is with Trevor Noah a couple nights ago. Listen.
Just before it goes on there, and just for the record, this is not the only film that has been made that's about history. That's like the only film that actually tells American history, that covers the history of America or slavery or whatever. I like that he's acknowledging the film, that it's important, but I think the jab that this is the only film that's been made that actually matters in terms of slavery. There's been a lot of films, man. Come on. There has been other films that have been made that are equally just as important. There's a film about Harriet Tubman. There's a film about Martin Luther King. I could list them at the top of Glory. Denzel Washington won an Oscar on that one. About the African Americans who were enlisted to fight among, was it for the Civil Rights Movement? Earliest African American regiments in the in the American Civil War. So yes, I know it was about that. It's just weird that I mean, you got a lot of films that I could come up with. I don't think this is the only film. So okay, so just before we listen to Will Smith and what Will Smith has to say, just thought that I should just share that with you, just for the record, okay?
I guess what I would say, you just never know what somebody's going through. You know, in the audience right now, you're sitting next to strangers, and somebody's mother died last week, somebody's child is sick, somebody just lost their job. Somebody just found out their spouse cheated. There's all these things, and there's strangers, and you just don't know what's going on with people, And I was going through something that night, and not that justifies my behavior at all. No, I would just say, you're asking what did I learn, and it's that. We just got to be nice to each other, man. It's hard.
I'm not justifying or excusing my behavior, but here's my justification and my excuse. I was going through something. So this is really what he's doing. He's like, really, Will Smith is doing the victim routine, and and if you listen to him, he's just making a whole bunch of excuses. I don't even think that he's actually apologetic at all.
Nah, I disagree. This is the part where I kind of really disagree with Matt on this take right there. I think it's just like one of those things whereby, like I said, I get that he's about the conservative view and he's about the conservative agenda and so forth, but I just feel like there comes a point in time where it feels at times like either him, Candace Owens, or Ben Shapiro. I got nothing against Jordan Peterson. Thus far, he hasn't really said anything that I think would trip me up or anything like that. I think Jordan Peterson is usually spot on, but the thing about Matt Walsh, and this is what got me about him, especially when he made a video about the Little Mermaid, and he was talking about what mermaids would have looked like. They would have been more pale and all that. Like, dude, no, we don't know that. We don't know what mermaids would have looked like. It's a fictional character. I mean, their human skin could have looked more like fish scales or whatever the case is. You've got fish that is black skinned. You've got sea creatures that have different kinds of hues and tones. We don't know that. It just feels more like it's a jab at Disney. I know, we get it. I'm also pissed off with Disney. I hate Disney and whatever they're doing. Whatever, but they're chasing after their bag, their investments and so forth. So they gotta push somebody's agenda. I get that part, but you know what I mean? Like, come on. Sometimes some of these takes are just not necessary. I don't see the point of it. I don't think that's really accurate of him to say that. Will Smith is just like, he's not making an excuse about it. He was asked a question. He's a public figure. We get it. Yes, he was going through some stuff and he reacted. He reached a boiling point. That's all that he's doing. He's just giving an answer. It's a response. You never know what somebody is going through in life. Yeah, I'm going through crazy things. If I was a celebrity, trust me. If I had to deal with all kinds of things that I have to deal with and react about them all the time, and I've got a camera in my face all the time, I'm pretty sure that there'll be a lot of crazy takes about me. I get it, but I think he's just trying to move on at this point. You know what I mean? To say that, no, he's just making an excuse about it. He's not really sorry. What's he supposed to say? No, I'm not really human. No, I don't feel. No, I don't, I didn't have any, like, what is he supposed to say? What do you want him to say, man? Like, really, what do you really want him to say? What is he supposed to say for him to appeal enough, to be human enough? I don't get it. Yeah, I'm going to continue again.
Because if you're actually apologetic, you're not going to get into this. I was going through something. No one gives a damn what you were going through. What you did was so unbelievable. It's like, it goes beyond inappropriate. It doesn't begin to cover it, okay?
We give a damn because we want to know. He was being interviewed for a reason. That's why he's a celebrity, Matt. He's giving an answer. What was he supposed to say? He was asked a question. Everybody is curious. People, the public are curious and they want to know, Matt. What's he supposed to answer?
And yes, was it worth all the headlines, everything? No, nothing is ever worth all the attention the media gives to it. But at the same time, it's still the kind of thing that, yeah, that's going to destroy your career. Now, look at it this way. Because there is now this this move online. It actually seems to me, anecdotally, there's a lot of sympathy for Will Smith. And people say, well, we should forgive him. And he's one of these, putting him in the category of these canceled. He's been canceled. No, this is not actually being canceled. This in fact is just, this really is just a natural consequence for your actions. Like getting banned from the Academy Awards. Well, you committed assault in the middle of the ceremony. Of course you're going to get banned. That would happen to anybody. So just imagine if you were like, what if you were at your job and and you have some kind of banquet at your job, maybe an awards, they said like some kind of awards banquet at your job, and they're awarding Employee of the Year and all these kind of things. And they bring someone up in the MC at this banquet, and he makes a mild joke about you or about your wife or something. And you get up and you physically assault the guy in front of all your coworkers at this employee banquet.
That's highly possible. That's extremely highly possible. Based off my own experience in corporate experience, where I've experienced corporate bullying, depending on what the background of the whole entire situation is, depending on the background, that's highly possible. I don't give a damn if it's the CEO. If the CEO gets up and says something really ridiculously dumb, I don't think the CEO would. I think CEOs are usually down-to-earth people. But if some line manager of some sort, because it's always middle management that's screwing things up, yeah, I can see myself getting up there and smacking the taste out of somebody's mouth. If they say something ridiculous, if they make a remark about my wife, for example. Okay, that's an excellent example that you are pulling, Matt. It's an excellent example that you're making. And as you're asking, does it warrant that I be fired or whatever? I think that's a discussion to be had. I think it goes both ways. Circumstances. Okay, we can't judge a situation one-sided or looking at it from one perspective. We need to look at it from all angles. What are the circumstances? Is what the MC or whatever, is what he's saying appropriate? What's the background? What have I been putting up with? Maybe I've been experiencing a lot of corporate bullying, and that was a boiling point for me. And I'm like, listen, you can bully me all you want, but you cannot not start attacking and saying things about my wife, depending on what it is anyway. I'm just saying, yes, Matt, it's highly possible that anybody can lose it. But what's your point? That I deserve to be fired? I don't know. Maybe that needs to be looked into much closer so we can see, why did this employee feel the need to get up there and smack somebody? Look at it from both angles and both sides. Maybe there's definitely some disciplinary measures that need to be called out for. Doesn't mean a person should just be fired because they did something that we've all done at some point in our life, or that we would do. We probably would do if circumstances deem that we should. I don't know. Anybody can slap anybody if the reason is good enough. Good enough, if you know what I'm saying. If the motive is motivated enough.
Would you even bother begging for your job back?
I wouldn't bother begging for my job back. I would say, hey, judge me fairly. Judge me fairly. That's what I would say. Judge the situation fairly. Fine, let there be a disciplinary hearing about it, whatever. Let me be suspended or whatever. Let me get warnings or whatever because it doesn't look good. But do I deserve to be fired? What are the circumstances? Once again, I'm still maintaining that argument.
Like, you would sit down and know, okay, well, I'm getting fired for that, and I'm also going to go to jail, by the way, because that's a felony assault that I just committed.
Possibly.
And that would happen to anybody. And any normal person. So the fact that anyone's even talking about, like, accepting Will Smith back into the fold, that's just privilege that no one else would get.
Oh, that's just being human. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. We falter. Nobody got to be persecuted for something forever. Nobody condones what Will Smith did. No, but I don't know anyone who's condoning what Will Smith did. Oh, there's some people who are probably trying to like stick up for him. You know, Tiffany Haddish was trying to speak up about it. Were like, yeah, they understand why he did it because Chris Rock crossed the line or whatever. The G.I. Joe joke was borderline. It was just like, you know, whatever. However, Tiffany Haddish and Will Smith and Jada go back. They made a movie together, so I understand why they're to kind of like keep it we gotta back each other up or whatever the case is, okay? But nah, I don't think anybody's justifying that. It's unfortunate that it happened, but it did happen. Like, yo, Matt, come on, man.
If that was you, you're done, you're fired, you're not getting another job either when people find out about that. And also, again, you are going to be criminally prosecuted for it, which he never was.
I can get another job, possibly.
So, no, I actually don't think that I'm all about people make mistakes, and I'm 100% against cancel culture, but there is, not everything is cancel culture. Sometimes someone just acts it, or this is physical assault you committed in the middle. And sometimes it really just is a consequence of that.
You said it. You said it. You called it out. You called yourself out, Matt. You called yourself out. Period. You think that's not cancel culture. Some things are not cancel culture. Let's get something straight here. What's cancel culture about? Cancel culture is about saying, hey, you did wrong, or you should be held accountable for your behavior, for this behavior, whatever it might be. Maybe you did it 10 years ago or 5 years ago. It's about accountability. Okay, it doesn't matter whether the person apologized, or maybe the person has a different perspective today. Cancel culture says, hey, we don't care whether or not this isn't what the person is today, or the person has made amends, the person has made tremendous contributions that show that they didn't know any better. They lacked knowledge, wisdom that they didn't have before, that they have now. Cancel culture says, no, that doesn't matter. We don't care about that. But this person should lose their salary, their income, what sustains them and their family. Regardless, we don't care. Okay? We don't care whether or not the person is taking ownership and responsibility for their behavior and action. That's what cancel culture is. That's what you're doing to Will Smith right now. What are you talking about? That's hypocritical. You can't call out cancel culture on the one hand, and on the other, on this side, you're kind of like, no, because Will Smith speaks out, about agendas that are usually promoted by liberals. So therefore, no, he's going down. This isn't cancel culture. This is what? What are you talking about? It's up to Chris Rock. Chris Rock is the only person who reserves the right to say whether or not he's going to press charges against Will Smith. That's not up to us. That is not up to us. This is crazy, man. Come on.
That'll do for this portion of the show. As we move over to the members blog. Hope to see you there. If not, talk to you tomorrow.
You know what? Yeah. Thank you very much for the take, Matt. Okay. You take an L for this one. You take a serious L. Like, nah. I'm not buying that one. Matt, you want to take an L for this one. I totally disagree with him. I disagree with this take. I think he's just got it all wrong. I mean, I think this is one of those things whereby I think politics get the best of us, and that's why I try to always be objective, and I always maintain this. No matter what, I always try to maintain that real objectivity for me is looking at a situation, whatever scrutiny, whatever criticism you're going to give on one side, we have to exercise the same on both sides. So we can reach a point whereby we have to agree about something, but on the basis of whether or not are we being just in this matter. And I don't think Matt is being just. I don't think he's being consistent in his argument at all. So this is just hypocrisy. This is just pandering to his audience. I'm probably one of his audience, but I don't agree with this take at all. I don't really think so. I think this is just one of those cheap takes, as I would deem. In any case, guys, thanks for watching. You tell me what you think. Do you think that Matt is right on what he's saying? Do you think that, do we need to even question whether we need to move on? The title of the video says, does Will Smith deserve redemption? Who doesn't deserve redemption, though? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Matt? Tell me what you think. Whatever you think. Alright, just leave a comment, man. We need the algorithm to, push my videos and whatever, you know what I mean? I'm a small YouTuber here, but I need some I need perspectives so that can inform me about other future content that I make as well. But apart from that, I do appreciate you watching the video up to this far. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. That's also appreciated if you want to watch more content from me as well. Alright, God bless and thanks for watching.